Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
That was from a cabinet meeting that just wrapped up before the press. Donald Trump was asked a question about the Trump DOJ claim that the Epstein list never existed. And you saw Donald Trump just absolutely lose it right there. How guilty does he look right there? Let me show you the full context so you can see what went down, and then let me show you more from this disastrous cabinet meeting before the press. It gets worse. Here, watch this.
Sure.
Your memo and release yesterday with Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Next, Donald Trump talks about the military strike on Iran, and the only word he knows is the word skedaddle. And he goes, they went skedaddle. Do you know what skedaddle means? It means skedaddle. Here, play this clip. Now,
this was not only the pilots. I mean, those machines flew for 37 straight hours. They didn't stop. They went skedaddle. You know the word skedaddle? It means skedaddle. They dropped the bombs, and somebody said, skedaddle. Let's get the hell out of here. And everybody...
head has been, what in the world is going on? We can't normalize that behavior, folks. Then CNN tries to ask a question, and Trump goes, I don't do CNN. I don't do CNN. Watch as he continues to lose control. Let's play.
Not for CNN. Not for CNN. Go ahead.
In the last job.
Then Donald Trump lies and claims that in California there are blackouts and brownouts every week. I live in Los Angeles. That is not true, but this is the type of propaganda that they use in North Korea to talk about South Korea, and the incompetent Trump regime is doing it right now. Here, play this clip.
And they're going to have, I think, Doug, a lot of electricity left over, and that electricity is going to be passed into the grid and give us no more, like you look at California, they have blackouts and brownouts every week. They're totally out of control. They have a really incompetent governor.
Donald Trump then attacks a Democratic senator who's Jewish, Chuck Schumer, and he goes, he's Palestinian. So then Donald Trump uses the term Palestinian as a slur to attack a Jewish senator. Here, watch this.
I saw that you gave. Two quick questions.
I saw a Palestinian senator. His name is Schumer. He's a good Palestinian. No, he's a Palestinian. He's become a Palestinian. He's abandoned the Jews. But I saw him say, it's Trump's fault. Yeah, that's right. It's Trump's fault. He was actually, do you ever see John Lovett's The Liar? Where he goes, yeah, I went to Harvard. That's right. This was Schumer. He goes, yeah, it's Trump's fault. That's right, it's Trump.
Then Donald Trump continues to attack CNN and the reporter who first reported on our own intelligence community's assessment that the strikes in Iran were not as successful as the Trump regime claimed. And Trump goes, we've got a faker. We've got a scamming faker. He continues to lose control. Let's play it.
God, we had a lot of fake reporting, mostly from CNN, where the scammer a writer for CNN, who should be fired, by the way. She was involved with the 51 fake intelligence agents, if you remember that. She did that story, created a story out of it. She created a story out of the laptop from hell, saying it came from Russia, but it actually came from Hunter Biden's bedroom, or worse. and just a scammer. And she's still at CNN, which is pretty amazing. But we'll ask you a question about her. But they came up with this concept that maybe the attack wasn't that good. Maybe it, and I saw it happen right after the attack. I saw this person on CNN. I actually watch. I like to watch the enemy. You learn from the enemy, and I watch because you have to know where they're coming from. And I watch her say, Anderson, I'm hearing stories that maybe they didn't hit their target. Maybe it wasn't that good a hit. And they were hearing stories. The next day it was a little more, and the next day a little more. After 3-4 days, she was saying, I don't know. I don't think it was that. Except by that time, everybody knew it was hit perfectly. The evidence is in the planes. The pilots are the best evidence.
Donald Trump is asked about the catastrophic Texas flash floods, where the death toll is now over 100, with still people missing. Many of the dead are young children, are young girls, and Donald Trump says the response was incredible. He said, "We did a great job." And then he goes, his message is congratulations, you all did amazing. He's saying the response is amazing. He's saying congratulations. What a sick, vile piece of trash he is. Here, play this clip.
The response has been incredible, and the fact that we got along so well, I don't know. I don't even think that's a political thing, but we got along so well, and it was so unified. I think a lot of lives have been saved. That could have been as bad as it was, and you could have lost double or triple. This thing was just really horrible. Well, congratulations on a great job, and appreciate it. I know you're going down. I'll be going down on Friday with...
Then Donald Trump is asked, well, what is your view of FEMA? What's your view of the Federal Emergency Management Agency that you are eliminating? And it seems that FEMA was not prepared and is not prepared for future storms and hurricanes and events like what transpired. And Trump goes, I'll tell you some other time. I played you all the clips of Trump and Noam saying they want to eliminate it, but play the clip.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I'll tell you some other time. Thank you.
So then Pam Bondi's asked more questions about Epstein, and Trump's asked questions, and she tries to answer it. Remember our report yesterday, did you see it, about the minute that was missing from the Epstein videotape that they purported to say was the tape outside of the prison cell where Epstein died by suicide? Remember that? Well, here's what Pam Bondi says, and she makes it even worse. Here, play this clip.
Back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
She's asked, well, what about people from the prior Trump administration who said that Epstein was an agent for foreign governments and kept a list to blackmail rich men, and you said the list was on your desk? Here, play this clip.
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that.
Then Donald Trump says that the BRICS bloc, the economic group of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. He says if you're a member of the BRICS, you will pay an additional 10% tariff. But then he says the BRICS is dead. So you're going to pay an extra 10% tariff, but you're also dead. And then how is that going to impact the trade negotiations, say, with India? So is there automatically another 10% tariff on India in addition to whatever the hell else you're talking about? Play the clip.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, on the tariff issue, So you talked about India coming, but then a couple days ago you issued a new tariff threat to members of the BRICS countries for if they aligned with anti-American policies.
10% charge.
That would be India, Brazil,
That's
Russia,
right, they have to pay 10% if they're in BRICS. Because BRICS was set up to hurt us. BRICS was set up to degenerate our dollar and take our dollar as the standard, take it off as the standard. And that's okay if they want to play that game, but I can play that game too. So anybody that's in BRICS is getting a 10% charge.
Is that immediate, sir? Or is that
pretty soon.
If they engage in some behavior?
Well, if they're a member of BRICS, they're going to have to pay 10% tariff. Just for that one thing. And they won't be a member long. I thought BRICS was, I said this about a year ago, and it largely broke up. But, there are a couple that hang around, but I thought it largely broke up. BRICS is not, in my opinion, not a serious threat. But
more from Pam Bondi here, who's talking about when she told Fox that she had the Epstein list on her desk. And she goes, well, yeah, I told Fox that I had it on my desk, that I had the files on my desk. Okay, well, where the hell are they? Because we know that Trump is all over the Epstein files. Here, play this clip.
it seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
Then Donald Trump says, we're done with solar, we're done with wind. He then talks about how he has a friend who saw windmills in the United States and said, wow, that's so ugly. So now the United States is going to destroy solar and wind energy and go back to coal, while the rest of the world is going with solar and wind energy, often as a bridge to develop safe nuclear energy. But America's going to not do wind and solar right now. This is another kind of just catastrophic malpractice by him. Here, play this clip.
We've reintroduced clean, beautiful coal, because you can do a lot with coal now. Clean, beautiful coal, and natural gas, and all of the other things that we have. But we don't want wind, and we don't want solar, because they're a blight on our country. They hurt our country very badly, and smart countries don't use it. Solar sounds good, I will say, and I like, on occasion, you'll see a roof which is made of solar brick, but it's a smaller use. We need the kind of thing that's going to fire up our plants, and it's not going to be wind, that is very intermittent, as you probably know. But they've spent a fortune. They've spent trillions of dollars on this stuff. And I'll just give you one other story. A friend of mine is a very successful guy. He went back to see his mother in Minnesota, hadn't seen her in a long time, and he wasn't back for 10 years, which isn't a nice story. I mean, you don't see your mother for 10 years. She's got some difficulties, which I know the guy, he does have some difficulties. He's very successful, but probably not the nicest person. It was actually longer than 10 years, but he went back and he told me he wanted to go and look at the valley. There's a valley in Minnesota that he thought was so beautiful. I hadn't seen it in a long time. He's driving along the road and said, I'll use the word gosh, oh my gosh. He said, he said, it looked like a junkyard. He had 159 windmills. They were all over the place.
While we're talking about all this, I want to make sure we keep talking about the climate as well. Just because the Republicans passed their big, disastrous budget bill doesn't mean we stop talking about it. If anything, we need to be talking about it even more. Let's talk about what this Republican budget bill means for the climate and, by the way, your wallet, too. While wildfires rage, heat domes expand, and floods destroy lives from Texas to Vermont, Republicans just passed a bill that guts funding for clean energy, hikes energy costs on working families, and showers billionaire donors with tax breaks. Instead of investing in affordable solar, wind, and grid modernization, this bill doubles down on fossil fuel subsidies and gives subsidies to coal. It slashes programs that help low-income families weatherize their homes and pay utility bills, just as extreme heat is driving record demand for electricity. So, who benefits? Big oil, wealthy donors. Who pays? You Me, higher electric bills, higher gas prices, higher costs to breathe clean air and drink safe water. This bill also cuts Medicaid and food assistance, forcing families to choose between medical care, groceries, or keeping the AC on in a heat wave, all to fund luxury tax cuts for the richest people in America. This is a time where we need to be clear. This is not just bad policy, it is climate denial dressed up as a budget. Republicans are raising costs on working Americans at the worst possible time, and the American people know it. So we have to stay united and we have to stay loud. So I want to encourage you all to leave your comments about this on this video and make your voices heard. We're going to stay laser focused on these climate issues, and I want to thank you for joining us, because if we don't stop them, we are not just losing money, we are losing our future. Okay, back to you, Ben. Then Donald Trump is asked, well, what are you going to do about Putin? You keep saying you're not happy with him. What are you going to do? And then Trump's response is, I'm not happy with him. So the reporter's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You're saying you're not happy with Putin. By the way, Putin's out there mocking you. He's showing nudes of Melania on Russian TV. And on Russian TV, they're mocking you, which is controlled by Putin. And Putin put out a statement, Donald wants to make movies with me and musicals to bridge the cultural divide. That's what he said about your phone call from last week. And then he escalated and has attacked Kyiv worse than ever since he invaded Ukraine. And then so Trump's asked, well, what are you going to do about it, Donald? What are you going to do about it? Because you look so weak and spineless. What the hell are you going to do about it? And then Donald Trump's like, why would I tell you? Why would I tell you? So pathetic. Here, watch this.
We're dealing with him now too. We're not happy with Putin. I'm not happy with Putin. I can tell you that much right now, because he's killing a lot of people. And a lot of them are his soldiers and their soldiers, mostly. And it's now up to 7,000 a week. And I'm not happy with Putin. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Yes, sir. You just said you're not happy with Vladimir Putin. Is there anything that you plan to do to act on that feeling of unhappiness?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you. Don't we want to have a little surprise? You know, one of the things we did with the attack is that you asked that question. I didn't mean to be rude, but I'm in a rude because I'm looking at some of these crooked people up here. So I'm rude, but your question was asked very nicely. But one of the things we did is we went over every fact. We wanted to get every fact straight. We wanted to have the distance straight, the number of pilots straight. Everything had to be correct, because this was a very important mission. If we failed on this mission, it was beyond the war that, obviously we had with Iran and Israel, a lot of hatred, a lot of years and years of hatred, centuries of hatred. People have never seen anything like it. So we wanted to be correct with all our facts. So what I was doing is just asking. It would be great if the media would be correct with their facts. That's all we ask for. So go ahead. So finish it.
Donald Trump is asked, look, on that last jobs report, by the way, which Midas Touch called out as being totally phony in my view, after we saw the private payroll ADP data, which showed 33,000 jobs lost, and then miraculously 147,000 jobs were created on Donald Trump's list, on Donald Trump's jobs report. It just so happened to be the number 47, 147, sure, and all of that came from government jobs, even though they're cutting government jobs, and there were 7,000 manufacturing jobs lost on the Trump report, because they couldn't fudge those numbers, because those were part of the private payroll numbers. But anyway, Trump's response is regarding losing 7,000 manufacturing jobs last month. But he promised a manufacturing boom, and there was a manufacturing boom under Biden. Trump goes, we're building plants. There's seven plants. What are you just making up numbers, number one? And number two, there was a manufacturing boom under Biden, and now you're shutting down wind and solar at all these new manufacturing developments. Play this clip.
Mr. President, in the last jobs report, the manufacturing jobs actually lost 7,000 jobs. When will the investments that you've been talking about have an effect on
they're building the plants now. About 7 have started. We're going to have hundreds started within a short period of time.
But Donald Trump says he has a trusted source. Xi Jinping is telling him, and he goes, Xi Jinping tells me that he doesn't have wind farms. They don't have wind farms in China. They have the most. Donald, idiot. Idiot. They have the most double in China than anywhere else in the world. They're the leader. So if Xi Jinping is saying that to you, he's playing you for the fool that you are, or you're just making up conversations, and you are a fool. Play the clip.
To what they'll be in about a year from now, but we're setting records. And wind is a very expensive form of energy. It's very bad for your beautiful surroundings, the plains and the valleys, and the birds are dying all over the place. You know, the whole thing is a disaster. They're almost exclusively made in China. Not that I have anything against China, because I don't have a great relationship with President Xi, but I asked him, how many wind farms do you have? He makes them, but they don't have a lot of wind farms, I'll tell you, very, very few. And wind is tremendously expensive and is very ugly. And if you own a house that's inside of a windmill, your house is worth less than half.
And then Fox just had enough of it, and Fox cuts the coverage while Donald Trump starts talking about how you can't paint moldings with a gold paint, he says. And then Fox is like, we done. Play this clip.
It's nothing. We also painted the room a nice color, beige color. And it's been really something. The only question is, will I gold leaf the corners? You could maybe tell me my cabinet could take a vote. You see the top line moldings, and the only question is, do you gold leaf it? Because you can't paint it. If you paint it, it won't look good, because they've never found a paint that looks like gold. You see that in the Oval Office.
All right, we're about half past the hour here. This is America Reports. We have been watching this cabinet meeting happening live as Caroline Levitt.
Before I go, I just have to show you one more time when Donald Trump goes, you're still talking about Epstein? You're still talking, because you talked about him. The whole campaign, you and all the people who are sitting there at that cabinet meeting with you were talking about him. That's why you made that your issue, and we knew you were on the list, because you're all over the files that have already been released. Anyway, here's what he says. Let's play it. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. A disaster presser with his cabinet meeting. There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.